Dude, because this is the thing I've learned about life is like, you have to get clues from your surroundings to learn about yourself. Because it's like, I don't know, maybe for other people they like know themselves very well, but it's like it can be hard to get like a wrangle on your own like intentions. It could be hard to get a wrangle on like your own desires. Like, what are you really doing? And yeah, I know that's a garbage. Shut up. Just please, no comments about the surroundings or the hair. Enough. You have to get clues from. I mean, that's a clue. Maybe a clue. Surroundings, garbage can, garbage bag, whatever it means. You have to look in your immediate surroundings. If you're trying to figure out about yourself, if you're trying to figure out something about yourself, right, and you don't really know, and you can't figure it out. Like, you keep trying to ask yourself, like, okay, what do I want? Like, what is the thing that's driving me? What are my motivations? Blah blah blah. All this shit. It can be hard to fucking figure out for whatever reason. It's just like you don't give yourself the answer. You can't pick the answer out of your fucking heart or soul or whatever the fuck it is. Like, it just doesn't come like that. So it's like you have to look around you. Look at your behavior. Look at the way you act. Look at the things that surround you. Look at what you're doing as opposed. Don't ask yourself what you want because you probably don't know. This is the thing. Don't ask yourself what you want because you probably don't know. We're so complex. Humans are so fucking complex, dude. It's just like, we don't know. We don't know ourselves. I'm learning this more and more. We really don't fucking know ourselves, man. Like, we can trick ourselves into doing things. But like the deep things about us that won't change, I think they're really hard to figure out. And it's like a hack to this is just look around you. Like, what is your life like? What is going on in your life? Because you can figure out, you can get clues from your surroundings and your behaviors. Your surroundings and your behaviors will give you some insights into yourself. That's the thing. Like, and you can use that as this tool to like get closer to what you actually are and the thing that's closer to the reality of yourself. If that makes sense, because it's like, man, maybe other people are different, but it's like I find it so fucking. I've been trying for years to like figure out myself and like what's going on with me. Like, what are the things that drive me? What are my motivations? Why am I doing the things that I do? What is it about myself that is moving me towards the things that I get? And I just can't fucking figure out the answer. I try to go deeper and deeper into myself, and it's just there is no fucking conclusion. I don't fucking know why. I don't get it. It's frustrating. And I'm just learning today that's like, look at yourself, like look at your surroundings, look at your behavior, like what are you doing? Instead of trying to excavate into your psyche, into your subconscious, into the essence of self, which even it just like dissolves. It's like you get in there and it's just like some dust floating around. It actually doesn't even exist at a certain point. There's something about humanity and consciousness and like whatever we are as entities and humans that's like you go down far enough and it just falls apart. Like, you can't figure it out, dude. Maybe some people can, but for me, I'm just learning today, like, look at what you do. Look at your behavior and look at your surroundings. Like, where are you? Check in with that. Where are you? What are the things that you're doing? That's it. And then you work from there. Use that information. Do it like a detective. Like, you try to get into the mind of a person. Through his behaviors and actions, as opposed to knowing exactly, instead of like excavating into their psyche, instead of interviewing them. This is the thing with other people too. It's like, you can't trust what people say. This is the thing, man. This is the fucking thing, is you can never trust what people say because they don't know themselves at all. That includes you. It includes you and it includes other people. Like, you don't fucking know yourself. And other people don't know themselves either. You have to look at what they do. You have to look at people's behaviors and actions and look at their surroundings and where are they and what are they doing with their time. And then you figure out them. Then you can figure it out. But you're not going to fucking know. You're not going to know if you just ask somebody because they don't know. First of all, they don't know. It's not like they're lying. It's not like they're hiding it. Maybe they are consciously. But it's like they probably don't know. And that's it, man. That's what it is. You look around you, look at your surroundings, and look at your behaviors, and that's the way to find out about yourself. Here's another thing to remember too, dude. Like, don't let the past affect you in the future. This is an everlastingly important item to remember when you're living your life. Is like the things that have happened are not the future, are not indicative of the things that will happen. There is an opportunity to be something new every day, and if you're living out of the fucking past, you're living out of a repetition, man. You're in a loop. People get in this, man. People get in this all the time. Like there's whole lifetimes people live where they're just repeating the last generation. Like there's scales to this too. It can be on like you're doing the same thing week after week, you're doing the same thing year after year, or you're doing the same thing lifetime after lifetime. And it's like you got to be aware of this and fucking be able to transcend that. Like we will live on the patterns that we are predicated on. If the pattern that you're predicated on is just a repetition to something that's coming out of something that you didn't even have anything to do with, then you're fucked. You're just a victim. That's the victim people. But some people like that shit. Some people enjoy being that fucking thing. They enjoy being the thing that is just fucking along for the ride. But it's like, dude, you take the wheel and understand that you can make something new. You can make something new, like a new opportunity to do something, a new opportunity to fucking write your fucking story. It doesn't have to be the same old shit. It doesn't have to be the same old shit, man. The past isn't you. The past isn't the future. Like you have an opportunity to become something that you want to be. It has nothing to do with what's been. It has to do with what you want. And that's always the case. Don't forget that. Like sometimes you want it to be the same thing. Those people that are not admitting that. There's a side to that too, which is like, yeah, you gotta understand that that's what you're doing. But if you're putting yourself in the position to be the thing that you need to be, then you will be that. It's like, dude, people need to be given the fucking straight facts as they are. This is the thing. People won't like being given the straight facts as they are. The information of reality, the truth of reality, the real genius of geniuses that are coming out of the ether, streaming consciousness to the general public as such as this, in a method such as this. This is the thing. The general population is full of idiots and dumb people. This is what we know. We know this as a humanity. We know this as a species. We know this as an entity. We know this as an entirety. Our population is full of dumb fucking idiots. People that just have no idea how to exist. Dumb retards. I'm using that it's a perjoring. I'm perjoring with the term retard, but I'm trying to bring it back from a time when it wasn't really acceptable to say. And if you don't like it, really the reality is that I'm not perjuring anyone in the sense of being that doesn't need to be perjured. It's the people that are acting in a way that really needs to be put in some sort of place. We need these type of words to put people in the types of places, and there's certain people in society who just act in a type of way where they really just need to be put in their place, and they don't understand the world. They don't understand themselves. So they need to be punished. And people, this is the thing, man. People need to be punished. People need to be put in timeout. Children need to be spanked. And you don't have to do it physically, but you have to do it emotionally and verbally. I mean, there's a way people need to learn how to behave properly. If you don't tell people how to behave, they will do whatever the fuck they want. And there are many people on this planet who are not going to behave well or in a good way if they're not forced to. So there's general people in society, the general geniuses, great people, gods of society, who just have to come along and do that. We have to come along and corral and rein in the other members who do not know how to act. These are idiots. They don't know how to fucking act at all. They're unable and unwilling to do the things that they're supposed to do to get themselves in the place they're supposed to go in life, and they will ruin their own lives. They will ruin their own lives at the fucking behest of themselves. They will ruin their own lives at the behest of their own subconscious. They do not have the understanding of what they are doing. They do not have the understanding of life. They do not have the understanding of ability. They do not have the understanding or various abilities of how to act in the society to get what they need out of society. It's for their own good. This is the thing, is people need to be acted on for their own good. They need to be told what to do for their own good. There are so many people in the world who do not know how to behave. They do not know how to act. And they need to be told in general ways, in direct ways, in ways of there needs to be rules. Society needs to have rules, because these people will just do whatever the fuck they think they can do. And it's like there is a large cohort of the population who is ungovernable, okay? And we need to put in an effort to educate people on the behaviors and the ways to actually behave so that they can do and get the things that they need to out of life. They need to get the things that they need out of life so that they aren't a bother to other people. We need to take care of these people because they're a problem. These people are a problem. They're a menace. They're a nuisance. And then you have general people who are just stupid. And they think they're smart because the society is very easy to get along in. And this is the thing too, people do things in various types of different ways, various types of intelligence, but really being able to understand how to act in the society is not something that many people know how to do. Many people are just stupid. They're dumb people. They don't have the ability to do it on their own. They need to be told directly through direct communication how to behave and how to act at all times. And if they don't, they will not. So they need to be told. It's just how it is how it is. And that is really the situation. Is most people should not be listened to. Me, yes, listen to me, genius, of course. But most people, there's really no reason for them to ever have any voice at all. They need to just be told what to do, herded into an area and forced it and allowed to do things. But it cannot be their own choice because they don't know how to make choices. They don't know how to make decisions. They need to be guided and told and enforced. And it's just the reality. I'm sorry, it's just the reality. Because this is the thing, man, is the perspective of the analysis is predicated on the outcomes that are inherent within the envelope of reason with which you want to operate. It's like there are certain outcomes which are desirable, but if you are in a situation where you are not looking to get the most out of whatever it is, then you find yourself in a place where you're not able to get any of it. And it's like you need to understand like the predication of what you want without trying to get it. Putting that in the place where it has to actually be analyzed in the perspective of the thing that you are is not really comparable to actually putting in place the things that are going to get you to the place that you need to get to in the context of what you want to get out of life. So it's like if you find yourself at the intersection of preservation and presentation of some sort of external force, it could be in the name of preservation at the same time. And it's like, do you really have the ability to discern between the two and does it really matter? Or is the distinction something that doesn't actually come from that perspective? The perspectives of analysis, if they are self-referential, really are inherent upon the underlying predications of there is something just legitimately true to itself without your analysis, without your perception. See, that's the thing, is that the things that are what they are is there. It's there without you viewing it. So it's like, well, no matter how you see yourself, no matter how you see your role in a certain type of situation, there is a place for you to be without you needing to go there, mentally and project some sort of intention upon it. Like, what are you looking to get out of it? That's the point. What are you looking to get out of a situation? Are you looking to preserve? Are you looking to gain? There's something true to what it is. What I'm saying, man, is that the thing that you are exists outside of the thing that you want to be. That's the fucking point, is that there are certain things which are inherent to you as an entity, which your consciousness actually doesn't have any reference on. And this is one of the distinctions we try to make, is like, you're putting yourself in a place where you have to analyze yourself separately from your physical being here on earth versus whatever else is inhabiting your body and giving you the ability to think and speak and talk and whatever that is. And it's like that eternal soul aspect of yourself. It's like, do you really have any decisions to make? That's where we kind of get philosophical here about like, what is the distinction between self and, whatever life we're living here that is separated from ourselves. Is the body a part of ourselves? Is my hand or my eyes? Is my hair, is my skin a part of myself, or is it just the consciousness which uses this vessel to experience life? And it's like, we don't really know the answer to that, but there's something inherent, whether it is a combination, whether it is one or the other, whatever it is, there is inherent legitimacy to the instantiation of you as you are. And that truth is, everybody knows that everyone kind of has an essence to them. It's like, you really can't get away from it. It's like people want to put some sort of ideation upon what they are, upon themselves in this life, and it's like, at some point you can't do that because you kind of are what you are. It's a long-winded it's a long-winded way to just kind of say, like, you kind of are what you are. For better or for worse, we need to things can be overcome, but it's like, at the end of the day, like, when you're in those moments, you're gonna find yourself as you are, coming to the table as that thing. And people don't like to hear that, or people might like to hear it, or maybe some people need to hear it. It's like, you can't get too far away from yourself. Everybody has their bad qualities. And it's like you're gonna have to come to the table with the realization that the parts of yourself that are yourself and are inherently changeable are gonna be what they are, and you really have to accept that for what it is, for whatever that means. And it's like, are there some parts of yourself which may not be of benefit? It's like there's going to be a point. I think everybody has a point in their life where it's like there three major things happen in someone's life. You find out who you are, you attempt to transcend it, and then you come back to yourself. Right? Like you find out who you are, you attempt to transcend it, and then you fall back into the person that you really are. And it's like, I think on the way to that, like the attempt to transcend ourselves is actually an act of finding a closer version of ourselves. Right? We may stray. Man, we stray from ourselves when we try to be something we're not. That's the thing, is we stray from ourselves when we try to be something we're not. And I wish that more people could understand that, because like that effort to try to get away from ourselves is always defeating. It's always self-defeating in a way, because it takes you to a place where you're not fully fulfilling the thing that you are. And it's like there's a distance that actually that's filled with something bad. Like when you move away from yourself, like that is a tragedy, because you're supposed to be who you are. And I think that a lot of people in life are struggling because they ran away from themselves, and they're sitting in a place where you suffer in that state because you don't have the ability to be close to the thing that actually gives you peace with it, which is, being the thing that you are. And I think people with, drug issues or whatever the fuck it is, emotional problems, like you strayed from the person. You're supposed to be closer to yourself. And it's like and it's like, dude, everybody has a different role to play in the world, man. Like, everybody has a different archetype. Everybody has a different expression of self. And it's like, isn't it like a Greek tragedy where it's like the thing about you that makes you what you are will always destroy you in the end? Or so I'm trying to think of like an example of that, where it's like the piece of you that is just you. You can't run from yourself. I wonder if I'll Google that after this to see if I can find it. But it's like there's some kernel of truth to that thought, that notion that just like, you can't get away from who you are, really. Like whatever you are, it's like that thing that you've always been will always come back. It'll always rear its head. You can never get away from it. No matter how far you try, no matter how hard you try to be something else, no matter how hard you attempt to be something you're not, it's like the thing that you are is just the thing that you are. And it's like that thing is fucking real. And it's unyielding in its demand, and it's like gravity. Like, it just takes you back to yourself. So don't try to run from it. It makes me angry a little bit, because it's like there's a piece of it where it's like that, because everybody has good and bad traits, and we have good and bad sides, and it's like we want to run away from, like, we don't want that shit to be a part of it. I don't know. I wonder if that's legit. I got to think about that more. Is like the negative parts of us that are part of us. They're part of us, but we don't have the negative parts of us without the good parts of us. We don't have the good parts of us without the bad parts of us. It's like those things live together. Everything that makes you who you are is in conjunction with itself, and it's like if we don't have one, you don't have the other. That's not arguable. It's like the traits that make you special are the things that'll destroy you in the end too. It's like there's something about that, man. There's something about those two. It's those two sides of the two sides of eternity. There's the two poles existing in reference to each other, and which only exist with each other, balancing each other out and holding each other in place. And so you are both of those things, and you can't have one without the other. We reach to try to transcend ourselves in all these ways, for the good and the bad, and we run from it. We run from what we are, but at the end of the day, we are who we are. And we can't get away from it. And there's a tragedy. There's a release in that, because it's like you lean into the things that you are. Those are the things that make you what you are. But it's like we also can't run away from the bad sides of ourselves either. I got to think about that more. But I feel like that is true in a sense. There's something about that's true. Is like there's like a poetic justice. There's like a I gotta look up like a Greek story, like a Greek tragedy about this. That feels like something that would be in there, just like it's like the thing that's like Achilles' heel. It's something like that, where it's like the thing. I don't know, man. Like that's like Achilles. He was like dipped in a vat of water or of gold or something, and it made him invincible. But then they held him by the ankle, so that part didn't get hit. I don't know. Yeah, everybody has it, dude. We all need to know that. We all need to know that and accept that. We all have the parts of ourselves that are just like unavoidably. Because everybody has that shit, dude. Everybody fucking there's one piece of you that'll like there's a chink in the armor. There's always a little fucking hole that can get in, and it's like that's just there. It's just a piece of us, and that comes at the same stroke. That's also the thing that makes you great. It's what gives you your greatness. It's because when you were given your gifts, there was something that came along with it that gives you like we're given our fallibility in conjunction with our gifts. That's what happens is we find ourselves adjacent to ourselves in both sides of the coin, on both sides of the coin, in the positive and the negative, the good and the bad. They live together and they don't live without each other. We don't get the good without the bad. There has to be a dose of each thrown in. So I gotta look that up more I gotta try to think that out more. But there is something about it where it just feels eternally true. Like the twin suns in the heart of man. One lives to lift you up and the other lives to crush you down. And it's like, can we really run from ourselves? Can we ever get away from ourselves? People spend a lifetime trying to answer that question. They try to do it. But it's like everybody has something. Everybody has there's always a weakness and there's always a strength. And it's like you got to know your strengths and you got to know your weaknesses too. And at the end of the day, maybe you just can't get away from it. I don't know. And it's like at some point, are we able to, if we understand it better, can we like manage it better? Or is there some sort of cosmic story which will be told where it will come back around and, you know, our strengths will lift us up for a while and then at the end it comes back and crushes us? I mean, you ever notice that in life, man? Like some people just don't want you to do well. Some people don't want you to have a good life. It's like, what is that where people, they don't want anyone else to, this is the thing, they just live a life where they're so limited in their own expression or experience that they don't want anyone else. They're threatened by anyone else doing anything. It's just sad. It is really just sad that people are like that. And it's like, you know, you just wish that people would want other people to do well. It doesn't take anything away from me for someone else to do well. I don't get that. That type of thinking is so stupid. It's so fucking dumb. If you are like that and you think like that, if you see someone else doing something and you're like, fuck that, I don't like that. Like you're a stupid fuck. You're a fucking idiot. And a loser and a fucking coward and a piece of shit. And all of it, man. You're all like, in reality, like if you go around and you're and you want other people to do badly because you think that if someone else does well, it means that it makes you look bad or it's a negative for you, you're an idiot. You're a fucking loser. I can't decide if you're an idiot first or a loser first, but you're definitely both. That's some sad fucking shit. You're a sad fucking person. If you're going around, if someone else doing well means to you that it is bad for you, like how does that even make sense? You must be, if that's your thinking, if you think that other people doing well, if you think that other people doing well means that it makes you look bad, you actually are like you have like no confidence in yourself. Like you're the type of you are like a person who doesn't have any faith in yourself to do things, or you don't have anything that you think you don't have anything to offer to the world, or you are so afraid to do anything that you don't do anything and you just hope that other people won't do anything either. It's actually like mind-bendingly dumb. It's not only fucking cowardly and stupid, it's dumb. I guess stupid and dumb are like the same, but it's so stupid. That's actually so stupid. Like you actually are a fucking loser, man. Like you resent other people you want other people to do badly because you think if they do well, it makes you look bad. You're a fucking loser. If you think like that, you're a fucking idiot. Like I don't even know. I don't even know what else to say about it. But I mean, man, if you're around those people or faced with those people, like you just gotta you gotta just get the fuck away from them, man. Cause it's like you can't. I don't know. What are you gonna do? Try to like teach them to not be a fucking idiot? Like it's not your job. You just gotta get away from people so that you can fucking be clear of the negativity. You gotta get away from negative energies, man. You gotta steer clear of negative energies. Like it's a required thing for you to bring the things. Cause there's people that want to stop you from doing the shit that you gotta do in life. It's crazy. I do understand. I do get why. I understand that people like that exist in the world. But I can't really see like the rationale. I guess I can. I guess I don't know. I guess you can understand it, right? Like people who are just afraid, or don't have any. Well, man, I've been afraid in life. Like I've been fucking. Not doing well in life. I've been in bad places, but I've never looked around at other people and been like, "Fuck that person for doing that." Like fuck them. I hope they fucking fail, because it makes me look good if they fail. Like that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make you look good if other people fail. It doesn't make you look good at all. You're not involved. You're not even in the fucking picture. I don't understand. Maybe it's because I'm a great person. Maybe it's because I'm a great person. I guess I don't know. Some people have no talent. Some people have no ability and skills. They're just idiots. They don't have. I don't believe that. I think everybody does have some sort of fucking talent. I guess not everyone's the same. But it's like everybody has their fucking thing, man. And it's like if you go around being mad at someone for their skills and talents, like dude, everybody has a fucking ability that other people like. Nobody has it all. I promise you. Nobody's gifted with everything on this fucking planet. So like this goes to what I've said before. I've said this a lot. Like, no one's ever going to beat you at being you, and you're never going to beat someone else at being them. I mean, I guess this is just what comes with being an eternal genius. Like, I can't understand the losers. But that's not even true, man, because it's like I go through life like I'm not the best at fucking a million fucking different things. But I'm not sitting here being mad at the people who are. Because it's like, yeah, that's whatever it is, that's not my thing. That's not what I do. Or even shit that is my thing, and there's always people that like better. But there's no one that I just don't get it. I just can't see cheering against people. I can't see being happy when other people fail. Like I guess let me think I guess some people deserve justice. Like, if people fuck up and they deserve it, then that's something. But, like, to root against somebody because... Or if somebody's in your competition and you're both trying and you beat them, like, I don't know, man. That shit makes me fucking sick, dude. And if you have like friends or family that acts like that wants you to do badly because they are thinking that if you do well, it makes them look bad, get the fuck away from those people. Just get the fuck away from them, because you don't need that type of shit around you, man. People who are like that are broken inside, and they will spread their brokenness to other people. Like, don't get caught up in that shit. Don't be like that, and don't allow those type of people to affect the things that you do in your life. Like, you have to do the things that you need to do in life, and it doesn't matter what the fuck else other people fucking say or do. And also at the same time, it's like that's part of life too. As you just have to understand, like, some people are just like that. Some people will just be like that, and don't be surprised when they do it, because that's what they do. And you might not understand it, you might not get it, you might not agree with it, but it's like, understand the world is like the world. The world is what the world is at a certain point. It's like you can't fucking change it. You just gotta do the best you can in the world to make your world as much as your world as you can. And learn how to fucking focus on what you gotta do, regardless. So yeah, man, I guess it's just part of the greater series, it's part of the greater truth of just understanding, like, the world is what the world is. Don't get caught up in trying to change it. Don't get mad at it for what it does. It's like it will try to stop you. It's a test to see if you're going to do the things that you need to do anyways. And do not allow other people to bring their fucking misery into your life and become your misery, because their misery is their fucking problem. These are the ruminations of... You gotta keep yourself on fucking track, dude. You gotta keep yourself fucking focused to get to the place that you need to get to. Because if you don't do that, like, things just come along and want to fucking throw you off. And it's just so fucking annoying. It's annoying. It's annoying, but it's like, it's your job to, like, continually reinforce yourself in the direction that you need to go. It's your job. Like, it's your fucking task to do. It's your task. You have to fucking do it. If you don't do it, then you're gonna fucking get lost. So you gotta take your fucking hand and guide yourself along to the fucking place you need to go. Get your fucking ass there. No matter what it fucking takes, man. You gotta do it no matter what. Dude, because that's the thing about life, man. It's just like these moments are frozen in fucking time. It feels like, you know, in our memory, when we think back on the fucking occurrences of life and the various happenstances, the various moments, the ceremonial, the mundane, the banal, the exciting, you know, the romantic, the horrible. You know, it seems like it's all part of something. But who knows? You know, it could all just be dust in the wind. And nothing more than a passing thought. Assumed to be important, but really nothing quite falls under that category. Because it seems like we have this ability to put things in a context where we make them out to be what we want them to be. And we think of things in such a way that, you know, memory allows us to put anything onto anything. You know, I've been nostalgic for the most horrific times. Like, what is that? Is it just because we have a chance to live? So it just becomes something worthwhile. We want to make it seem like it was worth it, even if it was the stupidest shit. We have a way of doing that. Humans, we have a way of fucking putting things, making them important. We want to say, if I didn't get this, I wouldn't have got this, or if this didn't happen, then this wouldn't have happened. It's like, dude, I guess. But it's like, that's all looking in the rear view. Maybe that's the thing about the fucking past, man. It's like, it could all just be something we conceptualize to give ourselves context for the present moment, to give ourselves some sort of motivation to do anything. I mean, the infinite possibilities. It leaves it up to the fucking fates, man. Just whatever the reality of life is, which we really have no idea. The constructs within which we want to place ourselves are so fantastical and fucking manufactured. I really think that there's a large majority of life that just we look at as if it means something, but it doesn't. Maybe all of it. We don't know that. You could, like... There's really no fucking evidence that any of it means anything at all. Like, except for, and none of it may exist except for the present moment. This may not even exist either. It's like we put our lives in the context of themselves to make them seem like it's worthwhile. I think it goes down to the mundane. Like, this goes from our conceptualization of our own lives to our conceptualization of history, to our conceptualization of our own very place in the cosmos. We want to put ourselves in a place of relative importance continually. We don't even know what we are. See, there it is. There's the dust in the wind, man. There's the deconstruction. And you're just left with nothing. That's when you're out there. You're out there at the end of a fucking rope, man, just untethered. People don't like to be untethered, though. That's the thing, is people don't like to be in that place. It's somewhat disconcerting. We want to feel like everything has some place, everything has meaning, everything has some sort of substance, everything has some sort of context. Everything is relativistically important in and of itself, and its own existence is justified. That's the thing, we want to justify our existence. People are uncomfortable with that question of whether or not any of it has any importance. I mean, I feel like you have to answer it almost. But it's kind of a pain in the ass. The variation of opinion puts yourself in a place where you're not able to really rectify any sort of fucking validation within the context of someone else's conceptualization, because it's like it's all self-referential. We don't have any access to anyone else's ideas and thoughts, not really. They have to filter it through their own fucking communication vortex. But we don't really have it. So that's the thing, man, like, people just want to hold on to shit, and I get it. But then it's the downfall of everything, because we get too comfortable with the answer, and then things start to fall apart. That's what society has been, is this continual evolution of trying to figure shit out and then thinking we know it, and then it all falls apart. Because it has to. Because once you decide that you know everything, you stop searching. And once you stop searching, you stop growing. And once you stop growing, you start dying. That's how societies go, man. They're built on some sort of search, and they reach a place where they stop searching and they start to crumble. And we'll search again. But I don't know when it's going to be. And there needs to be a little more of fucking alleviation of this general context of people putting themselves in this position where they have no fucking reference of right and wrong. And it's like, you gotta have an understanding of that shit. If you're operating without it, man, you're really just fucked. Because in this fucking life, there's gonna be some sort of fucking retribution for people who act in the ways that are not gonna be consistent with the fucking way the world works. It's the basis for morality. It's the basis for all of the conceptualizations of legal recourse in our society, the way that people construct themselves and their ideas of fucking right and wrong. It's not built on some sort of moral code. It's built in the laws of the universe. So you get what you deserve. It's inevitable in this context of how it comes into being, how it comes into existence. There is no fucking alleviation from this. We have general unavoidability of this fucking concept of, and yeah. This is one of the things about life, man. Like, we know on this planet there are true idiots existing in the world. There are true stupid, dumb people that are in the world. And if you look, you can see them in the corners of the world existing in their small lives and their meaningless fucking excitations of reality and molecular biology and cellular division, mitosis, meiosis, all becoming these forms of just nothing, these forms of fools and idiots and people that should not exist, but they fill up the forms in the ranks of society, which we send to war, we send them to steel mills, we send them to work camps, we send them to go fishing, we send them to do farming. These are the people that need to do the work of society, so we do need them, so we must appreciate them for what they are, but they are the fools, they are the idiots. They are the people who do nothing with their time and will leave this earth after doing nothing here. This is the truth of reality, is there are large swaths of the population who are real idiots and true idiots. And if you listen on the wind, you might get a chance to hear one. And you might see one in the wild one day, and you look at them and you say, I see a fool, I see an idiot, I see one who will not become anything more than he is because he has not that with which to ascertain or to ascend to any greater life. He has no ambition to do this. He is simply simple, and that is in some parts a beautiful thing, and in some parts it's a tragedy, because some people will never see the depths of reality. They will never see the heights of consciousness. They will never see a greater transcendence into a realm beyond this, beyond all, but they will exist in a life of simplicity and stupid and nothingness, because they are idiots and fools, and they do nothing but they sit, they laugh, and they at stupid things, and they see fast car, and they say, oh, fast car going by, and they are living a life of nothing, but they can see from themselves as something. So it's all relative in the mechanisms which you perceive the world. And we know that these are simply fools. These are people who are an aspect of nothing. They are specks of dust in the large, grand scale scheme of all of the schemas that have ever schemed to be scheming. And this world is dreaming of something beyond that, but they will never be a part of the dream. They will never be part of the ascertation to the stars. They will never be part of the ascension, because they are here. They are in the now. They are in the dust. They are in the gutter. They are in the dirt. They are living a life of whatever they are. They are what they are, and they will never be more than that. There is a simplicity and a beauty in it, but there is a tragedy as well, because they will never be anything that they want to be, and they do not want. They do not want. They just are. Because you have to be certain to alleviate the roadblocks, man. Like, whatever the things are that are gonna fucking trip you up, man, you learn more and more in life the further you get in life, that you have to be able to be in the position to fucking move those things aside when you get to them, and anticipate them before they come, because it's like at a certain point it's your responsibility to take care of the fucking life in the road before you. And it's not really, you have to accept for a certain amount the world for what it is. You know, if you take too much time trying to conceive of the world as something that's under your fucking control, well, there's a distinction in it, because it's like you can actually be too active in attempting to change the way that things are. Now, there's a balance, there's a paradox to it, because life isn't something that happens to you, it's something that happens for you. But we have to understand that we encounter things along the way that are not necessarily an aspect of ourselves, because we live in a world that's greater than ourselves. Now, I think it's a little bit difficult, because you put yourself in a position now where you're at once you're understanding that the world is something that comes for you, but at the same time we encounter the things that we encounter. So it's like, is it actually all an aspect of our consciousness manifested in front of us in the waking hours of our life, or is it something that we are a part of experiencing as an entity involved in such? And it's like, that distinction is not minute, but I think that it's probably a piece of both, right? There's probably aspects of life that are purely for us, aspects of life that are only coming for us. But then we're also existing in a world with 8 billion other people. So like, those people are doing their own thing too. And so I think those are the parts of life where it's like, you know, we have things come our way that are going to be necessarily for us, but at the same time we encounter obstacles along the road that are just part of what the general world at large is manifesting at the same time. And it's like, now I want to say that everything that we encounter is a part of ourselves, is a reflection of ourselves. I want to say that. But then it's like, you have to understand that there's a piece of yourself that wants to be overcome. And so there's like a generality, there's like a reflection to intention. Like, it goes out into the world, but then you get a piece of it back to yourself, and you have to, in a way, overcome yourself, because you don't understand the things that you don't want. The things that you don't want will come if you bring them. Like, that's the thing, is like, we don't understand the full entirety of ourselves. So this is where we want to understand life as something that happens for us, right? But we don't understand ourselves entirely. Ourself is deeper than we can comprehend. So there's going to be things that pop up that aren't really perceived as such. They aren't perceived as a piece of us, but they are. And so like, we lose a bit of analysis in that point. So like, you have to be able to, you can conceptually understand that everything that you encounter is a piece of yourself, but at the same time, you have to overcome yourself. This is the thing, you have to overcome yourself. So the world will put things in front of you that have to be overcome, because at the end of the day, you have to overcome the pieces of yourself that need to be overcome. It's the complexity of self. I think that I'm misconstruing for the world being a random place. It's the depth of what you are that leads to the confusion in what we find in the world. But I think it is all a reflection of us, but we just don't have this full, comprehensive, four-dimensional picture of us. We get just a slice. We have a slice of ourselves, man. We only have a slice of ourselves. We don't know ourselves all the way. That's the fucking thing. I think that's the thing that people miss in life, is they think that things are random, or they think that things come at will, or I mean at the will of the world. But it's like, we don't have the full entirety of what we are. So even if you get to the point where you can understand yourself as deep as you can, there still will be pieces of yourself that you can't get to. I really believe that. I think the depth of self is unexplorable at its furthest reaches, and it probably transcends or moves beyond the definition of a self as most of us would actually comprehend it, because it probably wraps back upon itself, and it's like the whole world is kind of included in this definition in a way. But it's like, for what we can understand, we can bring whatever we want in our life. There will be a piece of ourselves that we don't really know that is working behind the scenes. So you better be ready in your daily life to overcome yourself. And in that act, the roadblocks that the world gives you, don't forget that's the part of yourself that you need to overcome. Here's the thing, man. Like, the vast majority of businesses in America that actually operate on like a fucking corporate like scale, even on like a state level scale, will be centered in a municipality, at least like a mid-sized municipality. Now, it's interesting looking at the landscape of fucking businesses as you go across the map in America, especially in the Midwest. The concentration, when you move from industry to industry, the concentration of businesses from local and like rural even into the urban scale, like it really scales up with like the size of the business. Like, all the money is concentrated in these urban centers. I mean, this is a consequence of the way that humanity operates its financial systems. Like, we have economic zones of operation, which are the urban centers, right? But the thing about it is, when we operate like this on a differential of scale. So if you have one corner of the industry that's operating only in cities, and the other corner of the industry is operating only in the municipality, or the external municipalities, the rural areas, and as well as the cities, but it extends across the whole map, you have a disconnect. There's like a cultural disconnect when it comes to those two different places. It's a disparate almost culture within the population. So you have this burgeoning divide between two aspects of the same industry, a similar industry, not even similar, just the same exact industry, maybe different service levels within it. I mean, you have these centered markets in these urban areas, where you have these professionals, like middlemen, financial professionals, people that understand the banking system, people that understand access to capital, people that have the connections to be able to do finance and business on a scale that's able to reach out across, maybe to the next city, maybe to the next state, maybe to the next country, but on a general state-by-state basis. And it's like, the problem is, like, when you have this big disconnect between the people operating in the rural space and then the urban space, you're gonna have communication errors. You're gonna have general business activities gonna be stunted, just from the cultural disconnect. Just people don't have even the same value system at that point. And it's like, there needs to be a cohesive structure that ties these things together. If we have simply people living in the cities that are looking out at the rural areas and analyzing them as something external or other, we're left in a place where we really aren't able to I think somebody's getting fucked in the next room. Anyways, the economics of the urban versus rural space are very important to understand in this country, because it's going to be the defining factor of the next century. And I don't think we should forget it. Somebody is actually getting fucked in the next room, though, truly. Dude, because sometimes you gotta let them fucking have it, and sometimes you gotta let it go. And that's what it is in life. It's like things are never really one thing. Things are never really one distinction. You gotta understand when it's time to fucking let them fucking have it, and when it's time to let it go. Like some things are more important than others. Some situations are more important than others. Some situations require you to go and give all of yourself to it, and some situations require you to walk away. And if you can't discern the difference between that, it's your fault. You gotta know that. Like, you're the idiot for not being able to understand when it's time to do this and when it's time to do that. If you pick fighting in all situations, you're a fucking idiot. If you've picked trying to peacemake in all situations, you're a fucking idiot. Man, like, fighting should be the last resort, but sometimes you gotta fucking do it. Sometimes you gotta go in there and fucking do it. But if you do that at all times, you're a fucking idiot. But if you don't do it when it's time to do it, then you're a fucking idiot too. So it's like the nuance required in that. Like, every situation is different. You have to understand when it's time for what. What's it time for? Like, what's it time for? Like, you have to know when it's time to get in there and do it, and you have to know when it's time not to. If you run around doing the same thing for every situation, you're a fucking idiot. You gotta understand and be able to react properly to the situation at hand. If you can't do it, you're fucked. I'm sorry. You're just fucked. And it's like, I don't think you can teach that shit, man. You either got it or you don't. And if you gotta go find yourself in the middle of the fucking fight. When it's time to go, you go. When it's time to go, you fucking go, man. That's what it just comes down to. When it's time to get back, when it's time to fucking walk away, you walk away. This is the thing, man, because the country, there's no general sense of shame in the country anymore. There should be a general sense of shame for behaviors that deserve it. Like, people going around, especially on social media, man, it's like people shouldn't be posting about getting their GED. You shouldn't post about that. It's just, you should do it. Yeah, go do it, but be quiet about that. You shouldn't be posting about putting your dog down. I mean, you know, maybe the dog. You might want to sell. You can maybe mourn the dog publicly. Fine. But when we get down to lesser pets like a hamster, if you're doing that, you've lost your mind. You've absolutely lost your mind if you're doing something like that. When you get out of a relationship, a post about that is insane. Really, any sort of life update that has to do with something less than basically like a wedding, basically you can do it for weddings or like college graduations. Those are the only life events that can be announced. I don't want to hear about a new job. Do that in silence. Okay? I don't want to hear about, you know, a trip. I don't want to hear about a vacation. A vacation can have a post. You can put pictures, no words, no verbiage. Lesser graduation, high school graduations, again, pictures only, no wording. It's inappropriate. It's inappropriate. If a surgery, if you're posting about someone's surgery, you've lost your mind. You cannot be doing that in polite society. We can't have posts there should be a general sense of shame and reserve for these activities that are not a part of really public life. Public life has become too public. This isn't about me. This isn't me saying these things. This is for the general use of society. I'm doing this for the benefit of society. I'm basically a martyr for society. I'm a hero for this. This isn't about me. That's the thing. People say, you know, I have these ideas that what they do is important. It's like, you know, what you do is not important. Providing value to others is important. This is the thing. If you're providing value to others, there are some things that can be announced. A death can be announced. A wedding can be announced. A college graduation can be announced. A high school graduation should be done in silence. These are some things in society you shouldn't be bragging about. I see people bragging about graduating high school. If you graduate high school in America, congratulations. You have a warm corpse. A warm corpse. I've literally seen people walk across a graduation stage and they were barely breathing. They were like assisted. Somebody had to walk them across the stage. I've seen people they were drooling and somebody was holding their hand and walked them across the stage for high school graduation. It's not an accomplishment. I'm sorry, it's not an accomplishment, and you should be ashamed of that. You should almost graduating high school should be something you're ashamed of. It should be something you're ashamed of. And getting a GED, if you get a GED and post that you got your GED online on social media, you have lost your mind. You should be so embarrassed the fact you had to do that. Yeah, you should do it, but do it in silence. And there's so many things in life that should just be done in quiet silence. Quiet silence. Even the purchasing of a new house. When you purchase a new house, you're basically saying fuck you to all the starving children in Africa and third world countries and America, people on the street dying. You should be ashamed of buying. That's the thing, in this society, with the wealth inequality, the way things are going, you should be ashamed of buying a house. You should be ashamed of getting a car. Yes, you should do the things, by all means, go do the stuff, but do not post about it. You post about, there's 3 things you can post about: weddings, college graduations, and deaths, and that's it. Everything else should be off limits for posting. Honestly, or you can give your takes, you can give your opinions. That's fucking fine. I want to hear from people. I want to hear what people have to say. The public discourse is a good thing, but sharing life events that are meaningless and stupid, these are things you should be ashamed of. These are things you should never tell anyone. If you get a GED, you should just tell people you graduated high school. You should just lie about that. You should post a lie. If I was gonna get my GED, first of all, obviously, whatever. But if I was gonna get a GED, I would literally lie. I would say I'm graduating college today. I would tell people I'm graduating college today, because you can't go out into the general public and say I got my GED. You can't brag about this. This type of stuff is like, and like people who say, if you got an apartment, I got an apartment. I saw somebody post on Instagram yesterday that they got a new apartment. It was literally the smallest apartment I've ever seen in my life. Now, I have no judgment for this person. I'm glad that they have an apartment. They're not living on the fucking street. We've all been there. I've been there myself. I'm glad for you, my man. Don't post it on fucking Instagram. You look like a fucking jackass. You should be ashamed. You should be ashamed that you live in a 20 by 20 box. It's an embarrassment. It was probably like a 15 by 10 studio. It looked like a horrible place to live. And it's like, the fact that people are sharing that shit, it's indicative of the downfall of our society, that we feel compelled to share these events in our life which mean nothing. Travel shouldn't be shared. Travel within the borders of your own country should never be shared. Again, you can share 5 photos or less of a domestic flight. I do not want to see people putting up an image of you on a flight. Kill yourself. And I don't mean that actually. Don't actually kill yourself, but you know what I mean. You've done the wrong thing. You've done the wrong thing for your fucking moment in life, for this moment in time. You should not be acting in this way. You should be ashamed. Shame on you for posting about your GED. It's an embarrassment. You were an embarrassment to the society at large. The fact that you weren't able to graduate in high school. I've seen people that they were not conscious. Graduate high school. People in wheelchairs with no ability to discern the fact that they were even alive. I watched them graduate high school. They walked across the stage. It's an embarrassment. Stop what you're doing. You need to stop what you're doing, because it is not. It needs to stop.